From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2068, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, June 21st, 2017. Hams were recently called in to assist as flames swept through a coastal resort community in South Africa.
In South Africa's Southern Cape area, the region exploded with fierce wildfires, prompting the activation of area radio amateurs to assist with communications after landlines and cell phones were disabled, along with internet services. On the 8th of June, Hams reported to the Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network, Mosul Bay Mesh Networking working around the clock on the emergency network, as well as HF, VHF and UHF. Strong winds from a storm kicked the flames yet higher, sweeping through an estimated 20 suburbs. Hams remained engaged until June 11, when conventional means of communications returned. Especially hard hit was the coastal resort community of Naisnu, where more than 10,000 were evacuated as humanitarian support was summoned. Homes were also destroyed in nearby Plettenberg Bay. The bush wildfires came as the region was struggling with a severe drought. It was unclear what had ignited the fires. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
No matter which hemisphere of our big blue earth you call home, emergency response is a huge part of being a ham. One community in Texas decided to help give that life-saving effort greater communication access.
In Texas, the Gun Barrel City Fire Department is celebrating its newest piece of life-saving equipment, a hex beam antenna and a rotor, giving the firefighting QTH access to the HF bands. The antenna was installed with the help of the Cedar Creek Amateur Radio Club, and the new HF station uses the club's call sign K5CCL. The club station's new hex beam has access to 20 through 10 meters with a long wire for the lower bands. The fire department has had basic radio service on site as part of its emergency operations center, but adding a ham radio club station provides what Cedar Creek Club President Ed Bush, K8MKN, calls, quote, another layer of protection for our area residents. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
It's goodbye to dits and das for amateurs in Jamaica as the island's regulators give a nod to modern technology.
Jamaica has joined the ranks of many nations that have done away with the requirement of Morse code for amateur radio licenses. The Regulations Committee of Parliament was told that Morse code was no longer relied upon as it once was for emergency transmissions, especially with the development of more modern modes of communication. The argument was made to the committee by Ida Gay Warburton, Director of Legal Affairs for Jamaica's Spectrum Management Authority. She said the Jamaica Amateur Radio Association could expect to see a boost in membership as a result of these changes, and that there were hopes this would also result in greater support for the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, especially with the start of 2017's Atlantic hurricane season underway. The Jamaica Radio Group has a memorandum of understanding with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and the government to respond in times of crisis. The Jamaica Amateur Radio Group's president, Nigel Hoyau, 6 Yankee 5 Hotel November, told the Jamaica Observer newspaper that although older amateurs did use Morse code, he found that younger hams lacked the patience to learn. He said, quote, Morse code is not dead, but we need to get rid of it here. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The Jamaica Spectrum Management Authority recently granted a secondary allocation on 60 meters to hams in Jamaica, operating with a maximum of 25 watts EIRP. For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online on a repeater near you or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Paul Brown, WD9GCO, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.